Good morning. Welcome to Market Pulse this Wednesday. It is a day before budget, and of course, the 2024-2025 budget will be coming to you tomorrow from Parliament. And of course, we'll be expecting the Cabinet Secretary at the National Treasury, that is Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, to come and announce what the government intends to spend in the next financial year. But one of the things that has been very critical in this finance bill is how this budget is going to be financed. And one of the things that has, of course, is currently at the top of mind for every Kenyan is the proposals in the finance bill of 2024. And this morning I'll be speaking to Onesmus Kiama from KPMG, a tax expert here, and he'll be giving us some of the insights and what we should be concerned about. Kiama, thanks so much for making time to be on Market Pulse. And of course, one of the things that I really want to get from you is, what are some, when you look at the 2024 finance bill and the proposals therein, what are some of the things that Kenyans should be scared about?
Well, I'll start off with that of motor vehicle tax. And again, you'll appreciate that the government is seeing a lot of tax from that. 2.5%, when you look at how many Kenyans drive on the road, in as much as we're arguing that the people that drive are not hustlers, truth of the matter is, in Kenya, we don't drive because we want to. We don't own cars because it's a sign of prestige. Contrary to it, we actually drive most because our public transport system is wanting. And compare Kenya, for example, to the Western countries, where you're able to just look up for the next available bus and plan your trip to the next destination. So if, for example, you're leaving ABC to town, it would probably just, you would be able to see buses that are using that or flying that route within at least every 5 minutes, and you're able to hop in and out very conveniently. But in Kenya, a very short distance would probably, you can't even access a matatu in some places. And the condition of the public vehicles, again, is not in the best that you would want to imagine. That's why a lot of Kenyans buy cars. And they don't buy cars because they buy cash. They actually source for loans to get those cars. So now, the proposal to tax these cars will mean we are left with no option but to either leave the cars home and opt to use the public means, which is very unreliable and can be inconveniencing. We use our cars for convenience. And in my view, is that, again, we fuel these cars and it was already taxed at the point of importation. So it's like taxing me twice on something that was already taxed. Yeah. And the proposal would be, if the government could really look elsewhere for the revenues they're seeking to. And that's, again, remember why we said, you can't tax yourself to prosperity. So you will now start looking at what more avenues can I tax this person, can I tax Kenyans? Because you've already depleted all available avenues. And that's why you're seeing these proposals, as crazy as they may sound, is because we've actually run out of options and incomes to tax. And now we are reverting to more of what I would call wealth tax. That's one. Again, the issue of bread. I know it's also been debated much, and bread is widely consumed at all levels, from the, people down at the cadre to even the richest. And people eat bread. So again, wanting to tax that will mean this commodity will actually become now more of a prestigious one. Yeah. Think about something again like the proposal to introduce VAT on financial services. That will have a ripple effect. In that one, now Kenyans will shy away from using banking services. And that will mean either reduce revenue for the banks and also increase robbery. Because what will happen if, I imagine that if I transact at a bank or through fintech platforms, then I will be charged. I will probably revert to keeping money in my house. And if someone knows that I have money in the house, what's that likely to cause? Robbery. Because people will be like, if I get into this house, if I break into this house, chances are 100% that I'll get some money and go away with. So why not break in?
How do we balance between revenue and expenditure, even as we look at financing this budget?
One is to look at, with the increase in the taxes collected, I think every year we see, even though the Kenya Revenue Authority doesn't always hit the budgeted or the target, it still records an increase in the taxes collected. Yeah. So the biggest question is, and what probably should be analyzed critically, is where does the money go? After we've collected the taxes and seen that we've not hit our target, yes, but enough has been collected, where does it go? So that at least we're able to seal or manage better the spending aspect. And I think for me, government should analyze critically the recurrent expenditure and try and balance that in a way that we reduce spending on recurrent expenditure and things that are not bringing economic growth. So if there was a way the government could start identifying investment opportunities to, one, be able to at least use the money that they are collecting to generate more, that would be a big win. And then number two, again, is trying to attain some bit of consistency. Because remember, I've said this earlier again, that you can collect taxes and continue increasing the tax base as you also propose new taxes and as you also increase the tax rates. But taxation, if not well managed, can kill an economy, and really fast, in the sense that too much taxation kills an economy.
And what are some of these impactful areas or sectors of the economy that should then be given priority?
So one, I would talk about public sector generally, because when you look at, and by public sector here I mean just what allocation will be made to, one, say agriculture, two, the public transport and health, because these are very critical aspects. In that, one, if you address something like, say, the public transport system, a lot of Kenyans move from point A to point B to do transactions and business. And that, if this is well taken care of, will spur some economic growth, in that Kenyans will move more faster and quicker, save time, and also be able to do businesses from far and wide. Sometimes you want even to go the nearest of places, but you can't access it because of either crazy traffic jam and inaccessibility. Then again, public health is very paramount, because you need a healthy nation. Workforce, wherever people go to work, they need to be healthy, so at least they're able to report to work daily and turn around tasks and generate revenue from that. And then other things like, tourism, as I've spoken about, agriculture. We need a lot of incentives around the agricultural space, so that again we have reliable sources of food of our own. And a healthy nation, a feeding nation is a healthy nation. So that will take care of a couple of things.
When you look at the revenue-raising measures and the proposals in the Finance Bill of 2024, what should be done away with?
One is increase in taxes, I think. Because if you increase the taxes, already, I think the Finance Act 2023 and now the Finance Bill 2024 came with a myriad of tax proposals to tax Kenyans more and businesses as well. So if we are continuing to increase this more and more, we are glaring at a danger of, one, a lot of companies closing shop. And what that means is, again, you even end up hurting livelihoods and families, because companies, if faced with very heavy tax burdens, are likely to let go of employees. These employees will be left jobless and with no option really, or something to live on. So I think for me, it's about time that we started considering other revenue measures, like what more can the government do? I know we are not yet at a level where, as a country, we have so much alternative sources of revenue like other countries do. We have companies that have wells, oil wells, and can be able to, harvest that and sell it out to earn revenue. But as a country, we don't have that yet. But I think we can just look at what we have. Like our biggest bets, tourism. Can we have a lot of investment in that space? Because as much as we don't have oil wells, we can do so much well in that space. Do advertisement, position ourselves as a tourist attraction center and destination, and make us much from that space, as opposed to really just overtaxing Kenyans and the businesses in Kenya. Yeah.
All right, so just looking at the proposed revenue-raising measures, what can be done better?
One, my proposal would be for the government not to introduce all these taxes that are go. So let's have a bit of certainty in. And you've seen again, the Finance Act, maybe 2023 proposes one thing, then the same thing is reversed almost the subsequent year. And that chases away investors, in that when investors are not guaranteed of at least some level of certainty and consistency, then we'll lose on the foreign direct investment that comes as a result of investors from elsewhere. And they will fly to our neighbors, say Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, because here, what we are seeing is a case of, say, for example, again, the Finance Act, the VAT Act, that classifies items and services as either exempt, zero-rated, or standard-rated. So that has been really moving a lot. And you wonder, why can't we just lock it in and say something like a tax policy that will guarantee you, when this tax is introduced, it will be there, it will not change for at least a span of 10 years before it is changed again. That way, you're able to plan around your business operations and tax affairs to be compliant. Non-compliance is becoming very expensive in Kenya. And the cost of non-compliance alone it's enough to cause companies to close down. And how do you take care of that? You only take care of that by, first of all, ensuring that the taxing system is at least consistent. You won't have this year, then change it again. What happens if a taxpayer misses out on an alert or an introduction of a new tax or a change? They will likely continue doing it the way it was without knowing that the same was changed, just a year after getting into it. So you come up, you set up a company today, set up your systems, and say you're doing something that is VAT at 16%. You keep it at that. So next year that is changed, but you don't catch wind of that and you're left in the dark. You continue doing it the same all the way. Before you know it, you're flagged for non-compliance, you're charged penalties and interest, you can't pay them, you close shop, you move away. We lose out on employment on that and again the revenue.
All right, Onesimus, thank you so much for making time to be with us right here on Market Pulse this Wednesday. And of course, we'll be looking forward to seeing what allocations will be done and which department or which sectors will be getting what in the 2024-2025 financial year.